The concept of global warming as a satanic mission to undermine Jesus is a notion that has been circulating among certain religious groups. This idea suggests that the alarming rate of climate change is not a result of human activities, but rather a deliberate attempt by satanic forces to disrupt God's plan and undermine the teachings of Jesus Christ. Proponents of this theory argue that the growing concern about global warming is a clever tactic by Satan to divert humanity's attention away from spiritual matters and towards earthly concerns. According to this perspective, Satan's primary goal is to lead humanity away from God and towards sin and destruction. By creating a sense of urgency and panic around climate change, Satan is allegedly able to manipulate people into focusing on temporal solutions rather than seeking eternal salvation through Jesus Christ. This theory claims that the emphasis on sustainability, renewable energy, and environmental stewardship is, in fact, a smokescreen for a larger satanic agenda to control humanity and undermine the authority of the Bible. Furthermore, some proponents of this theory point to the fact that many environmentalists and climate activists are often adults with traditional Christian values. They argue that the environmental movement's emphasis on population control, abortion, and LGBTQ+ rights is, in fact, a reflection of Satan's attempt to corrupt humanity and lead us away from God's design. By framing global warming as a satanic mission, these individuals are able to dismiss the scientific consensus on climate change and instead attribute it to a supernatural force that seeks to destroy humanity. However, this theory is not supported by scientific evidence and is, in fact, a form of conspiracy theory. The overwhelming consensus among climate scientists is that global warming is a real and pressing issue, caused primarily by human activities such as the burning of fossil fuels, deforestation, and land use changes. The evidence for climate change is extensive and well documented, and it is not a satanic plot to undermine Jesus or Christianity. In fact, many Christian denominations and organizations are actively engaged in environmental stewardship and advocacy, recognizing the importance of caring for God's creation. The Bible teaches the importance of responsible stewardship of the earth and its resources, and many Christians see environmentalism as a moral and spiritual imperative. By framing global warming as a satanic mission, these individuals are not only dismissing the scientific evidence but also undermining the Christian values of compassion, justice, and stewardship. It is also worth noting that this theory is often used to justify inaction on climate change, as some proponents argue that the problem is spiritual rather than physical. However, this approach is not only misguided but also dangerous, as it ignores the very real consequences of climate change and the urgent need for collective action to mitigate its effects. By attributing global warming to a satanic force, these individuals are able to abdicate their responsibility to address the issue and instead blame it on a supernatural entity. In conclusion, the idea that global warming is a satanic mission to undermine Jesus is a misguided and unfounded theory that ignores the scientific consensus on climate change. While it is true that Satan seeks to lead humanity away from God, it is not through the manipulation of environmental issues. Instead, Christians should recognize the importance of environmental stewardship as a moral and spiritual imperative, and work towards addressing the root causes of climate change through collective action and responsible decision-making. By doing so, we can fulfill our duty as stewards of God's creation and promote a more just and sustainable world for all.